Hey everybody, welcome to another Age of Grogu, and I've got with me Elijah and Max today. Guys, how's it going?
Pretty
How's
good.
things? What you been up
Good.
to? What have you been able to check out? Anything interesting and watch anything? Seen any new TV shows or
I went and
movies or anything?
saw One Love, the Bob Marley movie.
Oh yeah, okay. How was that?
It was okay. I
That's what
think
I've
for the
been reading. I've been
I think
actually
for the
seeing the reviews.
casual for a
Yeah,
casual fan, for a
yeah,
casual person that want to see a Bob Marley movie,
yeah.
it was okay. But for
Okay,
someone who knows a lot about Bob Marley, it was
right,
not. I don't. I would say I was not impressed. Like I didn't like it on that level. Like
right.
it just skipped too much.
Yeah.
The movie was only an hour and 45 minutes, so it was
Mm-hmm.
short.
Yeah.
And like most rock movies, like nothing was in order, like nothing was like accurate, like.
Right,
And plus the main portion that they do the movie around is kind of like the recording and the release of Exodus.
right.
But I don't see why. Like I don't see why that's the album they chose, and I don't see why it was just that time they stuck to. And I also don't understand why it was only an hour and 45 minutes. Like
Right.
it could have been with more information and stretched out, different editing. It could have been better.
Yeah.
The actor was fine. There was a younger actor that played like a mid-age Bob Marley,
Mm-hmm.
and that kid was amazing.
Right.
That was like believable and good. So there's some portions of it I liked, other portions I just wasn't as thrilled as I was hoping I was going to be. So
That's been the general consensus. I've actually seen online information about that, and it's been like literally everybody's saying it's just
really,
subpar of a film. Yeah,
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 it was
it's
just
yeah,
okay. I mean,
hmm
I don't know if that has to do with like what they could write about. I mean, it was
hmm
like a tough gong picture, so it was produced
yeah,
by his label and everything.
really,
So I'm sure it was limited to between of like what they could talk about and like how much they could go into and
right,
story with Rita and his wife and the kids and
hmm
like they left out some kids and they put some kids that weren't born yet in there instead of.
really,
I don't know, it was weird. And
hmm,
they only talked about a certain point of his younger life, and it had no bite to it. It didn't have
right,
like this strong. It didn't really pull you in. And the first 10 minutes of the movie, first 5 minutes maybe, very beginning of the movie is when they do his assassination attempt.
okay,
So he gets shot in like the first 10 minutes of the movie,
okay,
and it just doesn't. Even for a movie,
yeah,
it just doesn't give you enough time to build up that shock of him getting shot or even explain why he got shot. And
gotcha.
they kind of just, I don't know.
S-
It was definitely missing. It was definitely missing some heart to it.
mhm.
But I'm glad I saw it. But it was definitely missing a little love and heart in the movie. So
Fair enough, fair enough.
yeah.
Max, what about yourself? What have you been up to this past week?
We saw Madam Web. I'm sure we'll talk about
Yeah,
that.
we'll
Whoa! I
definitely.
did not see that. The
Okay.
movie that I saw was probably a million times better than I should have saw Madam Web first, and then I'm like,
Oh, wait, we're gonna
I'm like,
hold you on. We're
One
gonna
Love
hold
is
you
the
on
best
that. We're
movie I've
gonna
seen
hold.
all year.
We're gonna hold off and
I guess you know
explain
what?
out
One
our
Love is the
experience.
best movie I've seen all year because
Okay,
that's the
it's
only movie I've seen so
okay.
far.
Fair enough.
Years.
That might make what Madam Web being the best film I might have seen, or no. Okay, maybe not. Um, Max and I are going to talk about Madam Web a little bit later because we have
Everybody's been
got a
trashing it,
lot
like
to talk about. Well, we can jump into it now, I guess, but uh,
We'll get into it later. I'm sure
yeah,
we
yeah,
can
fair
into
mention
the
enough.
it.
trash
Fair
now,
enough.
so we can
Fair
get
enough.
on to the good
Yeah,
stuff.
no. We'll talk about it a bit later. We'll wait till we build up a bit of a crowd in the audience there. Whoever's out there, kind of thing. So yeah, what else, Max? What else have you been up to? You got some comics and stuff, I take it,
Yeah,
this week.
I had a good Saturday. I went
Yeah.
to a local show, Comics and Cocktails, and I got some Moon Knight omnibuses, the first
Oh,
like three
damn!
volumes of Moon Knight.
Those things are huge.
Yeah, yeah, they're big,
How
they're
much were those
heavy.
each?
I ended up paying so the MSRP for them is 125 each. I did not pay that. I paid about $40 each
Right.
for them, which is a good deal in my
Uh huh.
opinion. I got this first appearance of Roderick Kingsley becomes the Hobgoblin.
Raise it a little
Um,
higher. Raise it a little higher.
9.0. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
yeah, it's 9.0. It's
9.0.
not bad. I
That's
paid like
cool.
$30 for it, which is a lot, which is like less than the cost of grade. So
Right.
it's always a good score. But then the cool stuff I found was this in the $5 bin.
Oh,
I found Action Comics #1 signed by Grant Morrison.
nice.
That's a cool find. I got
Every section of comics #1.
Yeah.
yeah,
Not the action comic.
not the Action Comics #1. The New
What, from
52
3
Action
years
Comics
ago? 3 years,
#1.
5 years ago?
Okay.
No, like 10 years
beginning of New
ago.
52.
Yeah, the New 52.
10 years ago, something
Right.
like that.
And then I got Wolverine book signed by Mark Silvestri and Len Wein. Len Wein created Wolverine, Storm, and a bunch of the other giant X-Men characters. And
Swamp
then
Thing?
Cyborg Superman. Yeah, Swamp Thing too. I found a Swamp Thing. Spider-Man 21 signed by Eric Larson, the first Cyborg Spider-Man. Yeah.
That's cool. Nice. Very cool. You get lucky with all these great little finds there.
It's because he goes to every comic book shop like
But yeah,
weekly.
fair enough.
Like he's going to ones I don't even know about. Man, like I go to my one shop and I'm good with that. He knows about all the signing everywhere. So
there was
I
somebody
have different shops for different different
yeah,
uses.
I know you're all
right.
on it. You got your little system worked out, which is good.
That's cool. That's awesome. Anything else? You watch anything else during the week? Any new shows or anything that popped up?
I know you're not going to care about this,
Sure.
but there's a Bjork photo exhibit in Los Angeles. It's all photos by Spike Jonze, the photographer, director, writer. Spike Jonze.
Oh wow. Okay.
At a coffee shop in like Lincoln Heights area.
Nice.
Cool.
They're just a bunch of like unseen photos that are in big prints. That,
How long is it up for? Do you know?
I think until the end of May.
Oh, cool.
So I went yesterday.
Nice.
Here, I might as well show you one of the books real quick.
Oh yeah.
My Instagram was like popping because I posted this and like everybody's like checking it out. But
yeah.
this is like a little printed fanzine booklet or whatever, and it's just got a bunch of like unpublished
that's cool.
Spike Jonze photos.
Okay, I was going to say, is that some of the actual stuff that's actually being put up on display?
Yeah, these are all the photos in here are all the photos that are like on giant prints,
display.
like that are just there to view for free.
Nice.
So I enjoyed it obviously because I like Bjork.
Yeah.
But,
of course.
It's a nice, if our viewers like Bjork and are in Los Angeles, it's free, so you should go.
That's cool.
That's all.
Nice.
Now we can
very cool.
That music anymore.
No, that's cool. Well, as Max mentioned, we ended up going to see Madam Web. I was trying to see if there's anything else that I did. Actually, I haven't really watched much during the week. It's been kind of a quiet week, so I guess let's jump into this. Let's jump into a couple of things on Madam Web. So, guys, Madam Web.
Spoil it. Just
let's just go on. Let's just get this
like,
out of the
everyone
way.
Hates it already.
Let's get this out of the way.
Like everybody's been talking about it. I want to hear your guys' word of how bad it was.
This is the writer's track record at this point in time. And honestly, I think some of the biggest issues have been the writing of it,
It was the writing and a little bit of the acting. You could tell some of the actors by like half of the movie stopped caring about the performances.
Absolutely.
Only really Adam Scott kind of cared. Really, he's the only one that felt like he was acting. Yeah. I've seen Sydney Sweeney and Dakota Johnson. I've seen them both give amazing performances in movies.
Sure,
they didn't try. Yeah. At a certain point, you could tell they were like, "This wasn't what we signed up for. This isn't really a superhero movie.
Absolutely,
we're just gonna be these dumb girls that you write us because the characters are very dumb."
Yeah, I think even Madam Web actually earned $6 million on its opening day in the domestic box office, which was actually kind of more than I thought. But it also had an $80 million budget.
Where did that money go?
Where did the money go? Well, I mean,
it looks so cheap. I mean, the one scene of the car going over the bridge, like, where is it just going to the cast? Like,
probably cast, and I don't know. Do they put a lot of like rock music in it? Like, probably
they played Britney Spears.
Oh, all the music. Okay, Britney Spears got $30,000 of that $80,000, or $30 million of that $80 million.
Yeah, probably went there. Yeah,
sometimes those songs cost like 25% of the budget of a movie.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, Max, you kind of mentioned that. We did a reaction as we kind of came out. We did our first thoughts and that's on our on the
What
YouTube
Britney
channel.
Spears song did they put in
But
there? I can't even imagine.
that-
if Britney
Okay, I will say,
yeah,
it hit really right. They played Toxic
Yeah.
at like just the right spot in the movie where you're like, I'm kind of bored of this movie. I kind of wish it would end. And they started playing Toxic. They started it midway through the song, and then they flashed back to the start of the song to kind of give it like a reprise.
or to extend it.
Yeah, to extend it,
funny.
really.
Really.
If I was really bored in a
wanted
movie, I don't know if I would be excited that Britney Spears came on. I'd be
I
like,
don't know.
oh,
That
no,
was the
I'm
only
gonna
part of the
bathroom.
movie where I was like, in a different movie, this scene would work.
Yeah.
In a
And
superhero movie, it doesn't.
I think I actually said it in our kind of post-mortem, and it really was a post-mortem, when I stepped out. It's like, I would like to have seen where that story would have gone if it was better written, better thought out, better edited, better everything. I didn't mind the story itself based on that time period for that character, which was like, it starts off in, 1973, and then it jumps forward to when she's, what year was it again, Max? Early 1990s, wasn't it? Something like that.
I don't know.
Yeah,
It doesn't. It doesn't. The ending doesn't really matter because it's all a bunch of hooey.
Right.
I mean,
yeah. I don't know
One of the
enough
things
about the
this
Madam
movie-
Web. Yeah.
One of the things this movie does is it shows us a future you never actually get to. The main reason why Ezekiel Sims is after these, he wants to kill the future Spider Women. He wants to kill Maggie Franklin.
Yeah.
He wants to kill
Because he has a vision or something that he sees them killing him, and
yes,
and
he wants to kill all those three girls
Yeah.
except for Cassandra except for Cassandra Webb for some reason. He wants to kill all of them because he thinks that they're going to kill him in the future. But in the future, we see them all dressed up as their Spider People personas, like Aranya, Spider Woman, and Spider Girl.
which they never get to
actually,
in this.
we never actually get to that future.
No.
Which is the most baffling part of this movie. It's like
we are going to spoil this film. We're just going to spoil this film because
It's
It sounded like it
these
was already
characters-
spoiled before it was into the
and it's
theaters.
shown in the trailers. It's
sure.
But,
Yeah, in fact, I think you saw more footage in the trailers
Yes.
than you did in the final
we
version.
see these characters having both powers and abilities and super suits, but we don't get to that until the last 15 seconds where it flash forwards to the future to show them that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't
Those
actually
shots of
explain
them all
why
in
they have
uniform, or
powers.
like in the last scrolling moments of the movie.
Yeah, there was no build
Also,
up
in the
as to
last
who they were.
3
Yeah.
minutes, Cassandra Webb goes blind and gets paralyzed.
And we don't know how.
They don't explain it.
She
It
falls
might
she
be
falls
because of
into the
Ezekiel's
water.
touch or
She
something,
falls
but
falls into the water, and then she goes blind, and she suddenly it's like, and she can't walk, and it's like. Then they gave her the worst kind of chair and glasses they could possibly put her in. It was like the director was out to torture the actress.
Circle glasses.
No, it wasn't those
it
glasses.
was
not
it
those
was
glasses.
it was
It
weird.
was none of the iconic look. They gave her a
Is there
weird
photos of that
spider
online?
suit.
It looks so bad. Like
Yes.
even
Are there
Dakota
photos of
Johnson's
her online?
face.
And that Madam Web look?
Are there actually? I don't know. I couldn't find any.
That sounds
There might be.
There
It's
might be, but I didn't see
It looked
any.
like ski goggles they put her in.
Yeah.
Like ski goggles without the frames.
But it was like this weird slit, and literally Dakota Johnson had the most like ridiculous smirk, and I know that she was just sitting there going, "This is fucking terrible," and she was smirking in such a way that that's all they were going to get from her because she didn't give a fuck. It really.
It must have been like a
truly-
toxic like work set environment too. If like all the actors just don't care, like if
Yeah,
they're putting
yeah.
on the, if you can read like they don't care, like
Yeah.
while they're
Yeah.
on screen, like when you're
Yeah.
watching them, that they don't care.
Yeah, no,
That's
totally.
got to be
I
like
think
a really like
oh,
crappy
yeah,
work
sure.
environment.
Yeah.
They're probably
I think
rushed,
Sony's
probably filmed
whole
it quick,
thing-
and they probably just didn't like the director or the producers,
Hmm.
everything involved with it.
I think Sony's willing to burn these bridges to get
Yeah.
these Spider movies made, in the hopes that one of them will be a success. Because I think if you look at
And-
Dakota Johnson, she fired her whole agency after she filmed the movie.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like they're
She
only
fired-
doing these Spider movies to hold on to the property of Spider-Man
Yes.
because they have to
Yeah.
make so many movies
Yeah.
of within that catalog of characters before they lose their, right to like.
They have 5
character.
years
Yeah.
to make the movies
So
before
they're-
they lose the
Yeah.
rights.
It's
Yeah,
like the same thing
it's
that like
crazy.
Fox was doing. They were just like putting out movies because they like, well, we have like let's just do it because
Mhm.
we make If we make, it's a gamble. If we make money, then it's good. If
Yeah.
we waste the money, then at least
But-
we can keep making these characters.
But I mean, everybody is up in arms, obviously, for Warner Brothers, getting rid of Batgirl. It might have been just as bad as what we just saw. It might not have been.
There's
We don't
no
know that.
way anything was as bad as that movie.
But
At
here's the
one
thing.
point, they tried to save Peter Parker, who's
Yeah.
not born yet.
Yeah.
I just want to throw that out there. They have to save Peter
See-
Parker, who's not born yet. They're saving an unborn Peter Parker in his mother's stomach.
I didn't mind that part, and this goes to the story that I
What about
didn't
the
mind
Aunt
that as
May
the
tease
story.
That
Yeah,
we never actually.
Yeah,
flesh out.
there was no
The
yeah,
first
they
15 minutes.
Yeah.
They introduce Uncle Ben, but he's
Yeah.
a young paramedic and war veteran,
and
then
works
at
with
one
Dakota
point-
Johnson.
Yeah, at one point he mentions
Yeah.
Dakota Johnson. He goes,
Yeah.
I'm seeing someone. She might be the one. And then we never see Aunt May.
There was no payoff. There was so
we
many
see
no
his
payoffs.
Brother Richard's sister, which is even weirder. Why is he hanging out with his brother's sister so much?
Yeah.
Well, she's like, I don't know. It was a very odd relationship to not show Aunt May, but have Peter's mom there the whole movie.
It was crazy. I mean,
with Uncle Ben.
I still
Wait a
came
minute, who
out
was
of
playing
it.
Uncle Ben?
Who was that?
Adam. What's his last name?
I can't remember.
Adam Driver?
No,
from Severance.
I don't know who that is. And Aunt May? Who was playing Aunt May then?
No, we didn't
Adam
see Aunt May.
Scott. Adam Scott.
Adam
There
Scott.
was no Aunt May. Yeah,
That
Adam
was the
Scott
baffling
was-
part.
was Uncle Ben. Yeah.
Is
Actually,
that what it was?
there was-
his one of half the
man.
time his performance was one of the few performances that actually did work. Half the time.
He's a good actor.
I'm
He's
playing
fun.
Before he realized that nobody else cared, then it became
Yeah,
the
but
other
Adam's
half.
fun to watch, like on whatever,
Yeah.
whatever. He's just interviewed and he's fine.
Right.
It's like he just
Yeah.
has that personality. So.
Yeah.
It was fun to watch, but it was so baffling how they introduce Uncle Ben. They
Mm-hmm.
tease Aunt May, but don't show her.
Yeah.
And then they didn't cast Richard Parker, only Mary Parker, who is married to Richard, but we don't ever actually see Richard. She just hangs out with Uncle Ben, who is her brother-in-law. It's a weird relationship that they don't actually explain much of.
Weird.
That's
They're
what I mean.
just like it's
Again, I like the concept, but the entire structure of
That's
it just
gotta be
felt
because they don't
was
have
so
the
bad.
right. Well, wait a minute.
No, they had the rights to Uncle Ben. They had
but if they don't have the
to
rights
Aunt May. They had the
Aunt
rights
May,
to.
Okay, if they don't have the rights to Aunt May, then
But
that
do-
makes sense because Aunt May is already being used in Marvel, in the Marvel movies. They
sure-
can't use
Wait.
Melissa Tomei because it seems like
What
they can't
about
do some
Richard?
crossover there.
But,
Right.
but then we've got Uncle Jonah.
Yeah,
Uncle
Jonah.
Jonah. No.
Maddie Franklin is J. Jonah Jameson's niece,
Yeah.
and they briefly mention it. It's a
Yeah.
throwaway line. She goes, "I'll call my
Yeah.
Uncle Jonah."
Jonah. It's like,
Um,
oh no.
Are you supposed
I
to
think
know
I
it's J.
think
Jonah
I think
Jameson?
both Max and I turned to each other when they said that. It was
Jeez.
like, oh
Well,
no.
I knew she was J. Jonah Jameson's niece.
Oh, I didn't
already.
know.
I was
Okay,
kind of
all right,
waiting to
okay.
see how they were going to play it.
It's like she doesn't like pick up the
Mm.
phone and be like, "Oh, okay, whatever." Like talk to her dad. It's just like
No.
mention him by name.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
called Julia Carpenter Julia Cornwall the whole movie, which is her.
really?
It's in the comics. It's kind of the reverse, where she was always Julia Carpenter. Her dad remarried. She became a Cornwall. But she never really used that name, and she's like longing for her family so much. She calls herself Julia Cornwall, even though they never actually explain her real last name's Carpenter. They just keep calling her Julia Cornwall.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a lot of weird decisions in this movie.
Here's the thing, though, Max. I sit down and I go, you know what? I think about it. Was this the worst, superhero
movie?
action
Yes,
movie
no, it
I've ever
was.
seen? No, I disagree. I
What could be
disagree.
worse?
Because I was entertained by the crowd's amusement of how much they laughed in all the wrong places in this film.
Yeah,
and
that's
that
different.
made it
But that's not the
entertaining.
movie.
That's
Yeah.
different. That's different. That's an
That's
enjoying
different.
a bad movie because
This
the other
film,
other
for me, was the most boring POS, sadly, because I really do like Halle Berry's, work. I did not like Catwoman more than I did not like Madam Web.
Madam Web.
At least she was in a costume in that movie. Like, that's what I'll give that movie. At least they worked really hard to make it seem like a superhero movie. They tried so hard to make it seem like it wasn't a superhero thing.
Yeah.
And in the last 15 seconds, they get some costumes.
Yeah.
It was really in the last 30.
Mm-hmm.
It was in the last minute of that movie that they just have a flashback of them.
Actually, the last minute, like legitimately the last minute of the movie.
The flash.
And the whole other time, she's just the EMT and can see the future.
No. It's even more baffling. Okay, if you look at it from a comic perspective, it's even crazier because she's dressed up like Julia Carpenter the whole movie, wearing Julia Carpenter's outfit from the Dan Slott run, from when Julia Carpenter becomes Madam Web. Okay. They don't explain why. There's no actually. She's wearing like a red trench coat the whole time, and she'll throw on some red sunglasses eventually to complete the look. Yeah, they go full out to give her all of Julia Carpenter's outfit, and they never actually dress her like Cassandra Webb. And then Julia Carpenter is just dressed up like a naughty schoolgirl the whole movie for.
Yeah.
Was there a post-credit scene or a mid-credit scene?
No.
Okay, they just ended obligatously like with her like as some old.
Yeah. You get this.
But she doesn't even get old. She just gets a super suit and she goes blind.
Yeah. Oh, and let's not even mention the villain of the film. I mean, he was in a suit.
He was in a Spider-Man suit for reasons completely
unexplained. Why was he in a Spider-Man suit, like a black Spider-Man suit with a red web? I guess wasn't.
He keeps saying these girls are going to destroy everything I've built. I wasn't sure what he's built because they don't say what he's actually done. He's just vaguely really rich and evil. They don't explain what his occupation is.
And don't forget, the great power comes great response. Oh no, it's not even that.
No. They changed the line to this. Get this. With great responsibility, you get greater power.
That's kind of defeating the point of the whole...
With great responsibility, you get greater power?
It doesn't make any sense. Don't think too much into it. This movie is written by morons.
Yeah, the writing guy, the guys who wrote this film, it was atrocious. It was atrocious in every single level of filmmaking.
That really makes me want to just, even though I do not think myself as a writer, it just makes me want to be a script writer that can at least sell scripts and never have them made.
Yeah,
because those guys can sell a script and just live off their script money and never even have a movie. There's so many people that like write scripts write a script every month and just turn it in and they get paid some money for it.
I mean, I got a feeling that people are going to see this film just to see how bad it really is, and that's where it may make some money, which is actually even more scary.
I don't think it's going to do that. I think people are just going to wait to see it on Stars because they know Sony has to deal with them. But I don't know. I think it's just going to be another bad flop for Marvel.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's when you compare the fact that. I mean, you've got films. Okay, well, let's talk about the anime.
They should have just took the movie and just made it a mystery 3000. Like, just put them in there. Just like, even if you never seen the movie,
our audience was having a good chuckle. Our audience was having a good laugh in all the wrong places. It was hysterical.
Yeah, but I think for $80 million, you can make a damn good like Julia Carpenter movie. It doesn't even need to be a Madam Web movie, just a Spider Girl movie that can stand on its own. I think that could be an
Yeah. No,
for $80 million, you can make that movie pretty. Like, it wouldn't be unreasonable, and it'd be a mid-grade superhero movie, and people wouldn't make fun of it as much. Instead, you chose the lamest part of Spider-Man, Madam Web, an old blind woman in a chair, and thought we can make this hip if we try and go Final Destination with it. But
they definitely went that direction.
Then they erased all parts of the superhero aspect around the character until they remembered, people like superheroes.
Yeah. Nah, it was I can't. I mean, compared to say
your brain, you can't even like finish your sentence.
It's like unfathomable.
No, it really was, but it also,
like,
as I said,
explain how bad it is.
In the sense of all the Marvel stuff, when you consider the fact that that Sony put together and managed to do an incredible job last year, again with Spider-Verse, which won an Annie Award for animation last night. Several of them, in fact. It actually got for Best Picture, it got 7 awards, basically, which included production design, character, visual effects, I should say, music, editorial. It won all these awards. Direction. How could Sony put together a team and let a team get together and be as good as that, and have all their live action stuff just suck? I mean, I know there's a lot of people that enjoyed Venom, but I personally did not enjoy Venom either. I thought Venom.
It's this one specific producer, Lorenzo something or other. I don't want to call him that or anything, but from what I hear, he just doesn't enjoy superheroes and thinks it's better to subvert the genre than to lead into it. Yeah. So he genuinely thinks he's making more interesting properties by taking away what people like out of it.
Sure.
I think that's not the best. I think he might be a fine producer, but that's not the right direction for superhero movies, to take away the identity of the superheroes.
Right. Yeah.
I think it comes down to at that level. I think, it's not just the writing sucked. It's not just that the actors didn't care. I think these bad movies happen because at a production level, they think that they're smarter than what they're doing. They think like, well, I'm better than some dumb superhero, so I can make my own project that's smarter and stands on its own because it's cooler because it's a film. And they make some dog water trash like this.
I mean,
it was unfathomably bad. That's the only way I could describe it.
It could be worse. It could be Kraven the Hunter, which is later this year.
That's another one. I think made by the same producer. Yeah. If it's the same writers, I think I might just
actually, I don't know who's writing it. Yeah, I don't know who's going to be writing it. I have more of an investment of Madam Web, and the only reason because I enjoyed the character, what they did on the limited time we saw her on the 1990s Spider-Man animated show on television. I enjoyed the idea of what that character represented, but I saw none of what that character was. But I also don't see why that would be a feature film, as you said. And
exactly.
I don't know. And I also
the lamest part of Spider-Man to make a feature film out. It's not like, I think they could have done something with the villains. I think they could have done an interesting movie where they take the villains and have the villains stand on their own, team up and do their own thing. It doesn't have to be Sinister Six. It could be Superior Squadron. It could be. There's a lot of different Spidey teams that they could have fun hijinks with. Like, almost like a Suicide Squad without Amanda Waller, just like villains on their own doing heist stuff or mischievous activities. I think, it'd be way more interesting than watching a clairvoyant run around and do nothing because her whole mission is to try to save these girls from dying.
Yeah. And the amount of time she abandoned them and left them behind was ridiculous.
Okay, we didn't even get to this. At one point in the movie, she just decides to go to, where does she go? The Amazon. She's getting hunted with technology that's like equivalent to like the NSA. And they don't explain how, but she gets on a plane and just flies to the Amazon for a few days.
And by the way, the woman in the chair for the villain, she's sitting there and she's tracking everything, every single camera across the entire, city. She's searching for these girls, and they eventually realize they're also searching for the Madam Web character, and she gets on a plane at this point and still is never tracked and seen at the airport and takes off. I mean,
and then at one point she leaves these girls in the woods, and they go to a diner and start dancing on a table to impress boys while they're getting hunted.
Even though they've seen themselves in the situation where they're going to get killed, it's like, wow, it was so sloppy. I feel like I want to move on from this because it's
let's talk about something good like X-Men or Deadpool or X-Men or Deadpool.
Yeah, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Other things, as I said last night, they had the Annie Awards for animation. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 won Best Visual Effects Animation. Have you guys seen this film yet? The Boy in the Heron?
No, Miyazaki's new film? No, I haven't.
Yeah. It keeps getting a lot of massive, really good reviews. It's been winning all these awards, but it actually won Best Character Animation for this.
I'm not surprised. People kind of worship Miyazaki. Even if you put it out a mediocre film, people would say it's the greatest thing ever. To be honest, he's kind of one of those directors. But I'm sure it's great.
Yeah. Then Star Wars Visions won 2 awards, I think, out of 3. They got a Best Director for TV media for children, I think it was, or something.
They went by episode?
They went by episode, yeah, and then the other one was best music for TV media. So got a couple of good awards, and as I said before, Spider-Verse won 7 awards. And then the other one we've been watching and catching up with, although Max, you said you hadn't seen it yet.
We'll be right back. Be back in 1 second. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. Blue Eye Samurai won literally 1, 2, 3, 4, like 6 awards.
Wow.
Did you saw that? Right? Did you see
No,
it?
I haven't seen this.
Elijah?
No.
Yeah. I saw it. It's not my kind of
Is that on Netflix?
stuff. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not my kind of thing, but it is very well done, and the animation was well done, and it deserved every one of those awards for TV related things. Max, you said you haven't seen Blue Eye Samurai, right?
No, it's on Netflix. I haven't seen it yet. I don't have Netflix
Okay.
right now.
Okay, yeah. It's worth seeing. As I said, not my kind of thing, but it is very well done and definitely worth all the awards it won. Basically, Spider-Verse and Blue Eye Samurai took out the Annie Awards last night, which was kind of crazy. Other stuff we've got Invincible coming March the 14th, the last 4 episodes of the season. I haven't read the comics. I think, Max, you've read the comics. Don't give us any
It's gonna be a
spoilers,
doozy. I'll
but
just say
in a
it's gonna
sense,
be a doozy.
it's gonna be a doozy. Okay, all right.
I mean, they saved all the cool stuff for the second half of the season, which is why I'm so
Okay.
bummed they spread it out 4 months later, because
Yeah,
it really would have flowed nicely all at one time to build into just the epicness of what's about to happen.
yeah. I'm always
Um,
curious whether they do that because they haven't finished the back half of the episodes yet and they need to be finished, or whether they just decide to purposely break it so people can have more viewing over the
I
course of
think
the year.
I think part of it is with a 8 episode season, they don't want to put it out over 8 weeks and have people wait like almost 40 weeks for more episodes.
Yeah,
Even maybe 40 plus weeks, almost maybe even more than a year at that point for more episodes.
fair enough.
Yeah, but we're in for some fun villains. Some cool. It looks like there's some stuff that's not in the comics because they, at one point in the arc coming up around I think the issue 40ish, a big mini kind of event that took place within the books happened, and all these image characters like Savage Dragon and Spawn showed up to help the Invincible characters out and the Guardians of the Globe out.
Okay.
And that obviously can't happen in this.
Right.
So it looks like they're taking out both. They're replacing all those characters with original characters, and they're also taking out the brief Invincible Spider-Man team up that happened in a Marvel team up book with Invincible.
Oh, okay. All right. That was in season 2, or should I say, what would be considered season 2 in the books, right? So.
Well, it's like around issue 40, yeah.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Interesting. Also, they dropped the new trailer for the Planet of the Apes and some new posters, which Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I'm excited. I think it looks.
I think it looks good.
Yeah, they're going to be doing a new trilogy out of this, so I'm kind of definitely up for that. They also dropped this information. The Penguin finished wrapped filming this week. So
They had a movie.
I'm curious to see what this is like. I mean, coming off of the Batman, I thought it was an interesting use of the character.
Goodfellas in Gotham,
Yeah,
like a rise of
I
the
think it's
mob.
going to be a little more than Goodfellas. I think it's going to be
like I don't know, mobster movie, like a casino or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's going to have that vein, but I think it's going to definitely escalate. I think they're going to show the difference between a villain and a supervillain.
Right.
I think you're going to establish Penguin as something more than the common Gotham street trash.
yeah.
I think he'll be at that highest level by the end of the show.
Yeah.
I think it's just crazy to do all that, and he didn't have to gain a pound. That's what blows my mind. Is he's just all that is just prosthetic on Colin Farrell. He didn't have to go Christian Bale and gain any weight.
It's like, you know what? I don't want to gain weight.
Yeah.
Just put this. I'll just go sit in the makeup.
But it's crazy. I mean, his performance, obviously, in the Batman showed through all that. I can't wait till we start seeing the first trailer for this. I don't know when that's going to drop, but I'm definitely down for
a month
checking.
before the movie comes out.
I hope not. I kind of want to see something well before.
I'm just messing with you.
I'm not sure when they had a release date for that yet. If they did even have a release date, it was sometime this year.
Yeah, I think this year.
Yeah. Other stuff, one of the shows coming out this week, Last Airbender. They've dropped all the run times for each of the episodes. They had a premiere this week at the in Hollywood, and for the most part, people came out of it, said they enjoyed it. There's a couple of things that people have kind of argued are different from the animated series, that they were like mid on in the first episode or two that they got to watch, and of course all the haters out there, all the people who are giving negative reviews and stuff like that, just building off of something they haven't watched yet, it seems. So people are getting all upset and all worked up over stuff they haven't seen. So I'm, again, this starts up on Thursday, and I think they drop all 8 episodes. So we're going to have to figure that out, because I'm also working next weekend as well. So I don't know. We're going to have to figure out when we're all available, because I do want to do reactions to The Last Airbender.
Yeah, I got to figure it out. I got to figure if I can get into Netflix.
Huh? Oh, you got to get on. Oh.
Because I don't have Netflix right now. I gotta see if I can use my parents' Netflix, but they might not work because the IP address is California and they're in Connecticut.
Gotcha. All right.
If not, I might just pay for a month or something like that.
Yeah, makes sense. It's gonna be worth it. I'm still excited to see it and such. Also, Joker 2 will be released in mid-April. First teaser. First teaser will be released in mid-April. Sorry, yeah, the teaser.
Mid-April. They're going to do it on April 1st. Seems like there would be a good time to do it.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, that would be good.
Which would be cool.
Am I the only one not looking forward to that movie? I mean, it just seems
I don't.
Like
I mean, it doesn't. It seems like it could be good. I don't know. I think with the same director and everything, it will probably be something interesting.
I'm sure we're going to get a really good performance. I'm going to assume they're not going to copy what they did in the first film.
Right.
Give
I
us
feel
something
it's going to
very
be different from Joker, but
what is he going to do? Do another Scorsese film?
No, I don't know.
I don't know.
I feel it could work. I don't think it will be like a train wreck, but
I feel like it's going to be a Bonnie and Clyde kind of film. Honestly.
Yeah, it feels like a Bonnie and Clyde or whatever. Not Natural Born Killers, but some sort of like two crazy people in love or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
One of those things.
Sure.
Yeah.
Actually, that would have been really cool to see like kind of like a satirical Natural Born Killers with the Joker and Harley Quinn.
That's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's potential. It's got potential to be
that would actually be cool to have like those kind of cutaways that they did
to
show the Joker's insanity.
Yeah.
Right.
But we'll get to see that first trailer in April, which would be kind of interesting. And as such, first reactions of Dune 2, they had a premiere. I think it was over in England. People are saying it is jaw-dropping masterpiece, which is interesting because usually a sequel on that caliber, usually it's kind of like a hard one to push up to. So people are saying it's the Empire Strikes Back of the Dune films.
That's good. I mean, I think you need that first one to set the story and set the scenery, and then you go all in the second one.
Yeah. Well, it's out in 2 weeks.
They're still doing the same Dune book. They're still on Dune 1. They haven't gotten to show us into Dune or any of the sequels yet.
No. It's still that, yeah. But, I mean, just...
And Dennis Villeneuve did say this week he's not going to adapt God Emperor Dune, which...
Oh, really?
Grow some balls, Dennis. We need to see this. We need to see some of that weird stuff going on in God Emperor Dune. Because that's when it gets batshit crazy.
Yeah. Interesting. Again, I haven't read the book, so I'm not too sure where it goes. But I got my tickets. I'm gonna go see it in 2 weeks' time, less than 2 weeks' time now. So, which is cool. Jump into Star Wars for a little bit, guys. Now, I know none of us really watch it, but I found this kind of fascinating. The Young Jedi Adventures, which is like the kids' animated kind of series based in the, I guess the High Republic. They actually animate and go to Batuu. So we actually, from, Galaxy's Edge kind of thing. So we actually get to see Galaxy's Edge going on. You know what? I watched it. It was cute. I watched it. It was cute.
No,
of course they're gonna. Yeah,
that is like, mommy, take me to Disneyland.
Yeah, sure.
That's putting something in the cereal. That's advertising to children. That's wrong.
Well, I mean, they've already put Batuu in the books and the novels and stuff like that.
I think they could have done it more naturally. They could have saved. I would have saved it for a big feature film. and have the characters
Sure.
go there to trade information.
Yeah,
Instead of just
that'd be
having an
interesting.
episode of the kids show set there, just
Mhm.
to pander some children, like, look, you can go to this cheap rendering of this place, but in real life,
Yeah, but at the ultimately, this is like 100 years in the past, prior to where we're at now, kind of thing.
it looks the exact same on purpose.
Well, yeah, but there's elements they
Less
They
mountains.
don't have the
They got
rides
rid of some of
there.
those
That's what they
mountains.
don't have.
they don't have the rights. They probably do. It's just they haven't taken them on.
No,
yet.
look, there's no Millennium Falcon, and there's no.
Well, it would be.
Where do you get your Sprite and your Coke bottle?
They might have it in there. You know, I'll have to check it out now just to see. But anyway, I just found it kind of amusing that they actually went to Batu and they animated that and stuff like
Canonically,
that.
you drink it out of a thermal detonator.
Yeah.
Of course.
That's what the Sprite bottles are. There are thermal detonators.
Also, Mandalorian game. There's a first-person bounty hunter Mandalorian game that's been made. I don't know too much more about it. Respawn is developing it.
Yeah, well, that's an EA company. We'll probably know more about it in like 2 years when it gets announced.
Okay.
But it's just in early development, from what I hear.
Right. Okay. All right. I just thought I'd check it. See, I had a feeling you'd have your ear to the ground.
It's been like kind of leaked that people are working on it. It hasn't.
Right.
No one knows if it's ever going to come out yet, because so many Star Wars games have these false starts.
Yeah, and then of course, well, I mean, there's still stuff that seems to be underway with what was that one they announced a year and a half ago?
Star Wars Outlaws is coming out this year.
Oh no, Outlaws is coming out this year. The rumor is having it that they're going to try to push for the summer. Well, actually, May 4th is what they're trying to push, but that might be just rumor, people's hopes and wishes kind of thing. It looks good, but the other one that they did, what was the other one's? Eclipse, I think it was, is still happening. Just despite the controversy, it's still moving forward, from what I understand.
I don't know how much moving forward it's doing, but it's still in development. I don't know if it's active development or not, but it's still being developed.
Yeah. Also, Empire Magazine dropped some more images of Emperor Palpatine, of Ian McDiarmid. Just images from their photo shoot.
From his Tinder profile.
Palpatine's Tinder profile.
Yeah, this is. You want to know how he got some ladies? This is his Tinder profile shots.
Oh, that's funny. Well, strange enough, Ian McDiarmid defends in the article. He defends.
That's what we need. The dating years of Palpatine movie. Between.
Jason would love that. He defends Palpatine. Ian McDiarmid defends Palpatine's return in The Rise of Skywalker. He always had a plan B. He tells the Empire Magazine. That may be so, and we're definitely getting that story in the Bad Batch, which is finishing its season this week. It starts showing off, some of the stories. They're definitely hinting towards the whole cloning facility and stuff from Heir to the Empire books and all that. So I'm very curious to see that. The other person who also has their little say about
I'm not dead. I told you I'm not dead. I want my movie.
Samuel L. Jackson wants his movie. He wants his Mace Windu film, and
I think he's listening to too much Age of Grogu. He's listening to too much me.
Yeah. Well, he's not dead yet, so who knows? I mean, yeah, it's one of those things. Hey there, Universal Toy Collector. How's it going?
I love the Mace Windu project that's like a different take on Star Wars. Or maybe they do a sitcom where he's set in Tatooine and you get traditional family life as a pod racer announcer. I tell you, a pod racer.
I tell you what, if
Star Wars sitcom.
If Mace Windu survived the fall and came down and survived, what I would love to see is the whole Star Wars underworld from Mace Windu's point of view, where he just goes undercover, and he's undercover. Undercover. He's basically in the lower levels of Coruscant during the Emperor's years, realizing that he cannot come out as a Jedi, otherwise he's going to end up by being recognized and killed.
People give him like a Padawan who wants to be a Jedi, and he's like, no, the Jedi are dead. You can't. You can't. The order is finished. And it's finally Mace Windu accepting that,
Yeah,
Even though
I think
that these Force people out there,
yeah,
the Order way of the
but
Jedi is dead.
but could you also imagine that he actually is still planning some way to go against Palpatine and try to take out, like, he's over the course of this period of time.
I don't think you should do that. I think you should give up on that and focus on just helping people escape Palpatine's grasp rather than going after
Yeah,
Palpatine. Then it would be the
maybe,
whole thing
yeah,
of why didn't he help
sure,
Luke?
that makes sense. That
Or
makes sense.
why did Luke have to do everything? Why,
Yeah,
I
but
think it'd be better to have him
it would
serve
give
his
a
own
really good
purpose.
story for him to be locked and literally locked down on the inner sanctums of Coruscant. I would
Yeah.
definitely, I could see a story like that. I would love to see a story like that if that was the case. But at the same time, it's like, still on the run, still, being careful what he does. But then see a different, version of Mace Windu. See him, have to deal with that sort of stuff. Ultimately be killed off by Palpatine, gets caught, and something like that. We see something, a final second battle between him and Palpatine would be kind of cool at the end of it all. But he finally loses.
Then Palpatine really kills him? Nah, I think he deserves something more honorable than that.
Anyway, that's just my thought. And as I was saying earlier, the Bad Batch. By the way, this is our episode 99. Well, this is our 99th episode that we're actually done.
Oh.
And saying that, it's kind of cool because this week we've got the Bad Batch season 3 coming out, and of course they are Clone Force 99. So it seemed like a perfect kind of way to kind of put that into the whole, our 99th episode kind of thing. I've avoided a lot of spoilers for this season. I know that Elijah, I know you haven't watched it. I know Jason wasn't hugely into it, but Jason was never really a huge style of the animation in Clone Wars. But Max, I mean, you're an old Clone Wars fan from way back, so am I. And you had some mixed reactions on season 2 of The Bad Batch. I rewatched it again recently, and I did enjoy it without the, constant struggle of, someone, like Jason, who was occasionally, ditsing things. I can get emotionally invested into these characters. Not as emotionally invested as I did in the Rebels characters or the Clone Wars characters still. But I did enjoy the story rewatching season 2 again, as I did recently. And I'd say it's worth watching if you get the chance to rewatch it again. But going into season 3, Max, any thoughts or?
I just want less filler episodes. I mean, it seems like the show has a lot of episodes that either don't really matter, or if they do matter, it's like the pacing is so odd. Like there's still so many plot lines from season 1 that are so open and haven't been shut and barely been addressed.
Yeah.
And every so often do an episode which moves it forward and then takes a sharp left to not actually close any ties, but to just drive the story deeper. And I kind of feel like they could have done a lot more with these characters by now. And it's just kind of a wasted opportunity to tell some good stories by just filling it with a lot of other stuff and randomness.
Right.
Like we'll never get any Omega and any of the Fett stuff. We'll never get any.
It doesn't feel like we will, but we just don't know.
No, but they built her up and she's going to be an important character.
Right. Yeah. Just quickly backtracking here, Universal Toy Collector says, wouldn't Vader and the Emperor be able to sense Mace Windu? Not if he closes himself off to the Force like Obi-Wan did. I think Mace would be smart enough to
works in mysterious ways.
Yeah, that too, exactly.
You can write it however you want if you just put the line.
Yeah.
The Force works in mysterious ways. You can have it do whatever you need it to do.
But you could, I mean, if he closed himself off to the Force enough, there is so many people living on Coruscant that, it would be a constant motion of movement of people who might have Force sensibility. It could put other people in danger if they were Force sensitive in the lower sanctums of Coruscant, but Mace Windu would be able to shut himself down enough to it. At least it would make an interesting story to see how that worked out. Eventually he'd have to open his mind up like Obi-Wan did, and that would give him away, and that would give him trouble. But definitely I don't know. Anyway, going back to Bad Batch again. Basically, D. Bradley Baker, who voices pretty much all the clones and every crazy creature you could ever come across.
The entire cast of the show.
Is looking forward to the final season. And he did say, hang on a sec, I did find it somewhere. Oh crap! You know what? I thought I pulled up a comment from him, and it seems to have disappeared. Bradley Baker did say, crap. Give me half a second, guys. Hang on. For some reason, it didn't make it into the final thing there. No, I've lost it. I had a piece of thing. Basically, D. Bradley Baker did say and explain that he was pretty much going back. For some reason, I can't find my stream. Hang on. No, I'm lost. I've actually lost my screen for some reason.
You lost the whole screen?
I've locked myself out of the screen. Oh, yep. There we go. Found it. All right, cool. Yeah, sorry. Going back to it. Let's get that off the screen for a second. Yeah, going back to it, D. Bradley Baker did actually say that we definitely are not getting as much filler. He said these first 8 episodes are going, full on. Apparently, a lot of people have seen the screeners are saying the first 6 episodes are really solid. There's 1 or 2 quieter episodes in 7 and 8. But then nobody's seen the last remaining part of the season, which I can't remember if it was 16 episodes for the season or 15 episodes for the season. So it feels like we're going to get a solid arc that's going to take us somewhere this season, dealing with how the clones, kind of come to an end or come to a near end of where they are completely phased out. Because that is ultimately what we're going to see, is the final phasing out of the clones in the Empire's era of this universe kind of thing. Then, of course, we've also got Asajj Ventress, which people are asking, she got killed off in one of the books, supposedly. So we're going to get a story as to how she's still around in the animation style. But the question is, there may or may not be a future, depending on how they deal with, her character. We may see her character turn up again. So again, nobody ever truly dies in Star Wars, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out too. She is a fan favorite kind of character. Yeah. What else have we got? Hello there, Anchorman. How are you? Yeah. Continuing on, let's jump into Marvel for a bit, guys. Let's talk about Marvel. So Thunderbolts.
A lot of Marvel news this week.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that dropped this week. Let's do the small things first. Thunderbolts has moved up to a May 2nd, 2025 release date. Blade is still dated for November 7th of 2025. So, those seem to be moving forward. In fact, this is the schedule of where they're shooting all these shows. Wonder Man is going to be shooting in Los Angeles. Daredevil is shooting in New York.
Los Angeles. Some people on Wonder Man.
Yeah. Thunderbolts is starting March 4th in Atlanta. Captain America restarts when the script is ready, it says, in May 24th in Atlanta. The Fantastic Four looks like it's shooting in the United Kingdom. Blade is definitely not Atlanta, but they haven't quite defined where that's going to be shot at. Where is Blade usually set? What city is it in usually in the comics, Max?
That's a good question.
Okay.
I want to say New York, but I don't want to be wrong.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it seems, Marvel's is New York, but it doesn't seem like it's in New York.
Okay. But it
was in San Francisco at one point before West Coast Avengers kind of took over all of San Francisco. And then I feel... But Blade started out as like a disco-inspired character, which is why I'm saying New York.
Okay, all right. And then Avengers 5 tentatively late 2024, but no actual shooting location there. So I found that interesting. Again, they seem to be, that's going to be interesting. We had
on the topic of Blade randomly, this is so random, but I found out he's probably the most popular Marvel character with under 30 issues of a solo series.
Oh, really?
All of the Blade issues are 29 issues, I believe.
That's cool.
Back into his first solo series to now.
The run's never been larger than 30.
No, it's usually like the first Blade solo series that really picked up any traction was like a 6-issue solo series after the first movie came out, which reintroduced the character with this new look. And then since then, he's been bouncing off and like, maybe he'll be in an Avengers book or a Defenders book or here or there, but he never really had his own. The solo series only ever last a couple issues.
Okay. That's cool. We got the trailer. We didn't get the chance to do a full-on reaction to the trailer, unfortunately. We were all kind of all over the place when Deadpool trailer dropped, but we've got a poster.
Yeah.
It seems like they definitely...
We could go through that now, couldn't we?
Huh?
Whatever.
Yeah.
People.
Yeah. Marvel being a bit funny recently with what they put on our pages with certain things. So I didn't want this to get locked into a full trailer. But I mean, I found the trailer interesting. I'll be honest, like I thought it was okay. People are getting totally hyped about it. I thought it was just an okay trailer, only because
I think people are underestimating it. I think for X-Men, it was a trailer made a lot for people in kind of the know. Like they never said the word Cassandra Nova. They showed the back of her head. They didn't really say Wolverine or show Wolverine until the end, but they showed Patch, Wolverine's Madripoor persona. I think it was a lot of kind of fan moments littered in with some good jokes to try to get people into the vibe of it. Rather than showing off the big plot of the movie.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. As I said, it didn't do a lot for me. I was like, okay, this is kind of what I was expecting almost. Like, we have seen a lot of the photo shots and stuff where they shot some of these locations and stuff like that and all that. So, just leaked online and all that. So I'm like, okay, fair enough. Show us what we've seen and definitely keep some cool stuff for the future. I always felt that Deadpool 2 was my least favorite of the two films. I enjoyed the first one immensely. I thought the second one was good, but I felt like there were elements of the second one that didn't work. Fact is, I need to rewatch them both.
I need to watch them both because I've only seen them maybe once or twice each.
Sure, yeah. I do need to do a rewatch, but I might do that close to when the film gets released too. So
everyone was freaking out because this was in the trailer. This comic was floating around Deadpool. In the background.
There we are. Yeah. This one here, yeah.
And everyone was like, what does it mean?
Yes, so Max, you picked it up. What does it mean? You hadn't
I found it in the back of my bins. I've been looking for Secret Wars for forever. I thought it was in my Hickman bins. It was in my Avengers bins, randomly. But yeah, so this is the issue in the book where
let's put it up again. Put it up again. Let's get a good look at it. Okay, that's what it looks like up close. Raise it up a little higher, a little higher.
Alex Ross? Is it an Alex Ross painting?
Yes, Alex Ross
cover.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You could tell Alex Ross by just looking at it.
Yeah, but it's the issue where God Emperor Doom kind of has to talk with Molecule Man. It's not exactly a confrontation because Molecule Man is giving Doom all of the power he needs.
Right.
And it establishes how hungry Molecule Man is. And this is spoilers for the end of the Secret Wars comic. But the Secret Wars comic was largely solved. Doom's domain was broken by Miles Morales giving Molecule Man a week-old cheese. I think it was a very old cheeseburger he gives him. And Molecule Man he's so hungry. He's like, thanks for the cheeseburger. I'll do you a solid and take away Doom's power because he was feeling Doom's power.
Okay.
And this is the issue where Doom goes to talk to Molecule Man, and he basically tells Molecule Man to know your place. And Molecule Man says, I'd be a lot happier around here if you fed me. And it's what led to the downfall of Doom.
All right. Which is interesting. So maybe it's doing the reverse. Maybe it's the build-up of Doom
also, the end of this issue also reintroduces Thanos.
Okay.
Which had me thinking about Josh Brolin was in the previous Cable. Was in the previous Deadpool movie.
As Cable. Mm-hmm.
Would he reprise his role as Thanos for a quick cameo?
That would be cool.
Interesting. I feel like we're going to get a lot of cameos in this film, especially ones that we have no idea coming to. Because
it's going to be littered with just stuff that we don't expect. I think
the reality is Marvel are very much aware of the disappointment in recent years of product, and they are going to fan service the shit out of this film. I feel as
Especially
long
with
as
the
it
character like Deadpool.
as long as it serves its story, I feel like we're going to get that. And I only say that it works so well because I did recently watch Star Trek Picard last year, and they brought the original actors back, all of them on the bridge of the Enterprise, of the original Enterprise. And there was such a very
Deadpool's not
powerful
going to
as
do
a
that though.
no, but as a fan of something that I watched 25, 30 years ago kind of thing, to the element of what the MCU means to this most recent generation in the last 15 years.
I just don't think
The
Deadpool's going to be doing that kind of fan service.
You
I
don't
think
think
it's going to
so?
be bringing in people
All
like
right.
Halle Berry to chop their heads off and James Marsden to chop their heads off. It's not going to be
Yeah.
the feel-good, happy moment. Maybe with
Sure.
Wolverine,
Maybe.
sure, but with
Right.
with the cameos, I think it's largely going to be joke cameos rather than.
Okay.
There's not going to
Fair
be
enough.
it's not going to be like the X-Men come back, land the Blackbird, and do something
Right.
awesome. It's mostly going to be them.
But that would be
looking-
still pretty cool for them to land a Blackbird in the middle of everything.
I think if they do, the ship will be blown up. I don't think
Okay.
it's going to be the kind of movie where they're going to try and land
Sure.
a sincere
Right.
fan service moment with anyone but Wolverine. I think
Yeah.
most of the fan service is going to be
Yeah.
watch us break your toys and rip them apart because it was funny to
Sure.
watch Doctor Strange do that. So we're going to do that for
Right.
a full movie.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Either way, I'm excited to see what they do with number 3. It has been a while. I definitely need to recap on the first 2 again.
I think that
because it
Mad
has been
Max
a while.
scene is what looks like to be the ultimate bloodbath of cameos. We've seen
And-
like random pieces of like, hey, there's Sabretooth and Toad in the Fantastic Car. I just already know there's no way that car makes it. That car is getting blown up destructively.
Fair enough. What other stuff did I have up there? Wolverine. Okay. Oh, yeah. This was the most watched trailer with 365 million views in its first 24 hours, apparently.
Yeah, I wonder how they tracked that.
Well, apparently they also counted the 123 odd million that was actually people watching the Super Bowl.
that counts.
Yeah,
It's
but
added
that's
to
not
that.
full trailer. That was like a 30-second,
Sure. Yeah.
go look at it
You're right.
online.
Yeah. Fair enough. But
It was probably 20 seconds. I don't even know if it was 30 seconds.
yeah, but where was it? Hang on a second. Was it this one? Okay, yeah, but yeah, basically, Jason wasn't here. Jason asked the question on his channel the other night, which is the second most watched trailer, and the second most watched trailer was
No Way Home.
No Way Home. Yeah, I forgot that was a huge, big one, bigger than.
Well, I mean, they really. There was so much leaks around that movie too. I think
Everybody was just waiting for
part of me thinks
confirmation.
Marvel knows these leaks help a little bit, and when you leak
Sure.
some of these cast members coming back, they're like
Mhm.
Marvel fans are like, well, now I want to see that trailer to see who's in it. And,
Sure. Yeah.
I think that's one of the things the multiverse saga has going for it. Weirdly, is the check out
Yeah.
and see aspects of what are you going to see in this movie?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I feel like this is going to be a rebirth, but it's also going to be interesting to see how the rated R part of it plays out with the audience. I don't think it'll have too much of a difference.
I don't think
still
it'll be
think
much difference.
kids are going to find their way into this movie no matter what.
Marvel does this in their comics too. I think in the new issue of Wolverine, it says parental advisory, not for kids. This is a
was
super
funny.
serious Wolverine book only for adults. Like,
And yet Max had it when he was 12, I'm sure.
No, I mean this came out this week, but this is like
Fair enough.
it's the same thing as like the toy in the cereal box. It's like you're telling these kids this is the super serious, glorious book only for adults you'll ever see.
Sure.
And the kids are like, now I want it even more.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
I
it.
think
No, totally.
The R
Absolutely.
rating on Deadpool is a little bit of that, where it's
Sure. Yeah.
oh boy, Deadpool uncensored. I can't wait. I think it's a little bit of a driving point for a younger audience.
Yeah.
Next one, Marvel Max comics like Jessica Jones. I do know about Marvel Max comics like Jessica Jones. The Alias books. Brian Michael Bendis did some interesting stuff. I really like how he tried to work in the idea that she's supposed to be Peter Parker's age and a part of his class that he forgot about. And she was like, "What do you mean? I had the biggest crush on you." And that was always fun in the Marvel Max years of Jessica Jones. I kind of like her later years when she gets with Luke Cage more because it's kind of fun to see her as like a family person.
Right.
Yeah, those Marvel Max books are fun. Punisher Max, and Punisher Max is by Jason Aaron is totally worth checking out. That
So
one's
we
savage.
So we also had this week the least kept secret of cast members for the new Fantastic Four, which they did this whole big kind of vintage style 60s poster artwork and titling that looks very much like WandaVision in its own little style of
It
kind of
shines
period
like back to the
vibes.
60s.
Yeah. Which I'm excited for. I'm liking that they could take these characters out of time, and I'm sure we're going to get that to bring them into the present. Max, I don't think you were too happy about that because we have seen it before, right, from Captain America.
I'm a little tired of the whole. It's not just in that. I see it in other media and other projects too. That people think it's so fun to take a character from like the 50s to the 60s and put him in the modern day, so you can look at a cell phone and go, "Whoa, what is this hokey device?" And I'm just so tired of that. I'd much rather Reed Richards been on the forefront of current technology than on the forefront of 60s technology. And I don't know. I just think even though they were created in the 60s, Marvel, to answer also Anchorman's question in the comics, Marvel's always worked on a what they call a sliding time scale, which means the books that started in the 60s now take place in the 90s. Everything kind of gets crunched together timeline wise.
They're like the Simpsons. They just keep pushing the age of Homer.
Yeah, sure, yeah,
exactly,
now,
exactly.
Now Homer wasn't going to go to school in the 70s. Now he went to school in the 90s.
Right.
Like for example, Peter does age, but slowly. In the books, he started out as 16, 17, I think 16, 17 years old around. Now he's in his 30s.
Age him up.
Yeah,
I'd say 1 year in Marvel Comics is about 3 to 4 years in our time, but it's they call it the sliding timetable. So every time, every year we go forward, so does their year go forward.
Well, that's got to match the new generation of kids and the new young generation. So so the reader that they're reading off is like the adult that they're reading in their book is not 80 years old.
Yes,
Elijah,
exactly.
Yeah. 20 years older than them.
Elijah, what's your thoughts on this new look and style that we're going to get from the Fantastic Four?
Okay, I don't. Just looking at that print, I don't take it that the movie is going to go for that exact look. I like that as an image.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean to me in any way that like this is exactly what their costume's going to look like, and that's the art direction of the movie or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think it's fun. I think it looks cool. I like it. Yeah. I have no problems with it. I think it's a great illustration, and I like the graphics and everything.
It is the same director as the WandaVision series, though. So, which I'm looking forward to see what he brings to the table.
It's just a fun poster, in my opinion. I don't take that as like
right.
It's ambiguous to me. I don't. If they're setting in the 60s, fine.
Sure.
I'm sure they're gonna like have a good reason.
Yeah, I mean, also it was a Valentine's Day release of the poster and the information, so it's
looks like a Valentine's.
Yeah, absolutely.
Card
yeah.
or
Boys and girls,
retro
and
it's fine. Like I have no problems with that.
Yeah, but it does set the tone of what they're going to be starting this film in, and where we're going to be seeing.
Sure, if that's the first image that they're showing people over anything, it's just
yeah.
I do know they'll go with like fabric suits like that. There's kinds of like it looks like a sweater material. All those suits that they were wearing. I kind of hope they don't go with that material because that look a little hokey.
Pedro's prescription getting worse. Look at those glasses.
I know. Yeah.
Jeez.
He's in his Edna Munch face.
Yeah. Well, this is the cast.
No cakes.
So, okay. Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be. Yeah, it's like I'm curious to see Pedro Pascal's in everything these days.
Besides Pedro Pascal, can you go back to that?
Yeah.
Like I don't really know.
You know them. They're just not very recognizable.
I just don't. Okay, cousin. Okay, that's cousin from
the Bear. He was in Andor.
Was the girl? The
yes, yeah.
She was in Mission Impossible. She's been around a bunch of other projects.
Okay.
Yeah. But the guy was Eddie Munson in Stranger Things. The guy with the metalhead with the long hair.
Oh.
Johnny Storm?
Joseph Quinn?
Yeah, Joseph Quinn. Johnny Storm is he was the metalhead.
Oh, that's him? Oh my god. I didn't even
I know, it doesn't look like him with that long hair.
Totally, yeah. That's cool. Well, he's only moving up in the world. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Happens when you become really likable in a TV show. They go, this guy's got charisma. Let's put him in
sure,
something
yeah,
something better.
yeah,
The
yeah.
Stranger
I
Things
mean,
isn't good, but just keep
I mean,
elevating them.
it's definitely bold choices. I mean, the fact is, I mean, none of us would have figured Pedro Pascal would be, uh, Richard Rees.
Reed Richards.
Reed
I
Richards,
don't
sorry.
think. I still don't think he could be. He's just the wrong shape. I mean, Jason keeps saying it. I think
Sure,
Elijah
yeah,
said it too.
yeah,
He's just
For
kind of.
sure. He is
yeah,
not the slim, like,
yeah.
ideal, what you would think of a slenderly type
No,
of, like,
yeah, yeah,
stretchy character.
yeah. I agree. Yeah.
Unless you lose a bunch of weight, like, you can't have Mr. Fantastic
But
walking around with, like, a slight pot belly,
but maybe
Yeah.
maybe this
Bigger dude
maybe
with a dad bod, he's got, like, total dad bod, just like,
He does
you
have
know.
a total dad
Yeah.
bod. Yeah, that's why he works for Last of Us. I mean, that's why
And
he's so good as Joel.
and
And he's
the fact he's
stocky to play
shooting.
Mandalorian.
I'm trying to understand the shooting schedule for that because it's like that literally he's shooting Last of Us season 2 now, and that's like a year-long round, shoot at least for the 8 or 10 episodes they have to do. So between that, I think they said they're going to start. Oh wait, when did they say it was? They're going to start shooting.
I think it'll work out
is
fine.
shooting in the summer.
Without saying
So
too much, I think it'll work out fine.
yeah, I'm sure they've figured out that schedule. I think going back to does Marvel have room for a talking bear? It's funny. They probably
They have
do.
a talking monkey, hit monkey.
There you go. They also got a talking duck.
Talking duck. Talking animals.
But that is the other thing as well. Superman Legacy and Fantastic Four are both going to be July releases in 2025.
This is my theory as to why they dropped all this news this week, including the X-Men stuff. It's
Sure.
because DC's been ramping up production, and it's not just Superman that's been going on, which has been getting all the news lately.
Yeah.
Batman's
Supergirl,
also ramping
Batman,
up. If you go
yep.
to the DC lots right now and you find Andy Muschietti's golf cart, it's got a big Batman sticker on it.
Hey, Chris. Yeah, we talked a little bit about Bad Batch. We didn't have much to say because, sorry, breaking in there. Just because it was kind of, we're trying to keep spoiler free.
The beginning. We didn't have any. Nobody's watching for like the first 45 minutes.
Anyway, sorry, Max.
We missed.
Yep.
But yeah, they've ramped up production on Batman too. I'm
Yep.
sure in the next coming months we'll get some announcements on the Brave and the Bold casting.
Yeah, yeah. We had plenty of Supergirl stuff, so.
I think Marvel's trying to get all these announcements out because people don't want to like. A lot of people have been talking about superhero fatigue. I think a lot of big problem is Marvel fatigue is more the issue. Is some of their projects have been a little lackluster, and people looking for something kind of new and more reliable.
We're getting the new animated DC film, the first of the James Gunn era animation, coming out this year. I think it was.
Oh no, we're getting there.
Was it next year now?
What's it called?
I forgot the name.
Not Frankenstein and Shake. Creature Commandos.
That's it. Yeah. I thought I read somewhere it was coming out this year. Now I could be wrong.
But, it could be. I think he finished it already. I know he had all the voice lines done before the SAG strike, which was months ago. So
yeah, and then
they still have to actually finish the current DC animated universe first. They're finishing it up with the Crisis on Infinite Earths, I think, trilogy of movies.
Okay.
And they're finishing that up right now. It's releasing throughout the year.
Gotcha. What else is there? Marvel rumor. Oh, this was a Marvel rumor that came out this week that Henry Cavill might be joining a MCU role. I don't know what that is all about, but people are speculating. This is all speculation, but it's something that
has to be Captain Britain. If it's anyone but Captain Britain, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
No,
I'd like to see him. I'd like to see how he'd play as Doctor Doom, though. Too. That could be kind of interesting.
No, I want a voice actor for Doctor Doom.
Sure. Okay. Oh yeah, because we'll never see the face.
I want someone with a commanding voice or whatever.
I
don't want someone weird for Doctor Doom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Peter Stormare is still my first pick.
Okay.
I think he'd be an awesome.
Would Clancy Brown work as that?
No.
No.
Clancy Brown's too old.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have the right. He's too American.
Okay.
That's why I keep saying.
He was British.
Well, he's like Liberian. He's like
Liberian.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
he's like a weird.
Okay.
It's like some weird. I don't know where Liberia is. Yugoslavia.
Eastern Europe.
Okay.
Eastern Europe, European, yeah.
Okay. That's cool. Other rumors that came out this past week. Reportedly, they might be having Storm appear in season. Again, these are all rumors, guys. So I'm just pulling out what we're getting from rumors through things.
I just think that Marvel. They already said they weren't allowed to use people that haven't debuted in live action yet.
Really? Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. People said, "Well, can you use this person or that person?" They said, "Well, not until they debut in MCU,
right?
Live action."
Yeah, makes sense. I'd rather see a live action set of these characters before we see them in the What If stories too. I agree.
We're already getting an animated Storm in the X-Men series.
Well, of course, yeah. Which is, of course, X-Men Revisited dropped their teaser trailer for us this past week, which...
I'm more excited about that than I am for Deadpool.
Yeah.
Really?
Really? Okay.
Yeah. It showed me everything I wanted to see.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. I mean...
It was so much great. Even in that trailer, it homaged everything from the 91 annual where everyone was protesting the mutants under Shadow King's control.
Right.
It did the trial of Magneto. It did that 90s Scott Lobdell scene of the basketball where Gambit throws Rogue through a building by accident. It had a lot of great homages and just to the actual 90s comics, and also they're doing a lot of Claremont stories with Magneto being at the helm of the Institute and Mr. Sinister.
I did see this too, and it's only a handful
What
of
about
people.
over more?
It's only a handful of people that are up in arms. And it's seriously,
the comic book morph?
Some of these people need to grow up, huh?
What are they mad that they're doing comic book Morph now? Because in the original show, Morph was a different character.
They're saying that Morph. I think it's Morph is transgender, and is what they're saying in this. It's like, so what?
Of course he is. He could change genders.
Yeah.
He could literally change. Of course he is.
Yeah, but it's like people are getting up in arms. It's like, seriously, just F off. All these people need to grow a pair and just grow with the times. It's as simple as that.
Did you notice the Morph redesign?
No.
So in the original show, Morph was just a white guy with hair who was jokey. He had the big swoop haircut. And he wore the leather jacket over his outfit. Now Morph is just like a pale white bald guy. More reminiscent of his.
I just don't know the character. I don't know the character in general. So yeah.
Morph was largely made up for the animated show initially. He was kind of the one that they kind of invented for the show. Even then, they retconned it as him being a version of the character Changeling from the comics.
Okay.
Yeah, Morph's great. I love Exiles. If you like Morph, check out Exiles Morph. He's a shapeshifter.
Again, I never really followed the 1990s X-Men. I followed a little bit at the beginning, but I was too old to kind of get into a new animated show, and I know that I was coming fresh off of the Batman animated series and into the I don't even think Justice League had come out at that point, but I was finding it I found this struggle between what we were getting from the Marvel animated universe and the DC animated universe, because I was definitely more partial to the DC animated universe. So it was either one or the other at that time for me. So even though I did watch some bits and pieces of the X-Men, I don't know enough of the characters beyond the core, set that we know from the feature films and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, the 90s show was transformative for me. I'm not gonna lie, it was everything I needed to get me, because I watched it as I was like 4 or 5 years old. I watched it when I was like even younger, like 2-3 years old. I was learning to read and stuff like that, and it was like but what was so brilliant about it is it was the 90s aesthetic of X-Men. It was the look everyone of my generation kind of clung to, and the generation just older than me kind of clung to.
Yeah. So wait a minute, you were 4, and like what year were you watching this? I'm just trying to
Well, I was born in 95, so like
Okay.
98,
Yeah.
99,
Uh-huh.
something like that, watching our reruns on Saturday mornings.
Yeah, they're still on reruns.
Yeah.
They're still replaying them on
Sure.
Nickelodeon, and
Yeah.
you could
Yeah.
still see it.
Yeah.
You could probably see the
Yeah.
full run like in order at
Yeah.
that time and everything.
Well, the animation
I don't,
house
think, I don't think I
actually.
watched it in order until streaming, probably. I think I mostly just watched. Actually, it's not true. I did have a season of it on VHS, so I definitely had the first season that I watched in order. But it was so brilliant about it is it was, the 90s look and aesthetic and some 90s era stuff, but mostly like 70s and 80s classic X-Men stories, but exposed through the more 90s lens, which is just, it's brilliant. I am almost 30, yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say just quickly also the animation company that is doing this Mir from studios from South Korea, they've done some great work in their past too. So this is some of the stuff that they've done. Legend of Korra, Star Wars Visions, they did a couple of episodes, and Adventures with Superman, Harley Quinn, Young Justice, and more. So yeah, I mean, I liked what I saw from the animation from this trailer. It had enough of a vibe of what the original, animated shows represented to people. I didn't know anything about how that show ended, and I didn't realize that Xavier died. And how did he die in the
So
animated?
he goes to space.
Okay.
He goes to space.
All right.
Was it the Brood that gets him in this? I feel like it was the Brood, right?
Okay.
I'm remembering that because that's from the comics.
No
I know
idea.
the Brood gets him when he goes into space and he gets the whole
Okay.
Brood saga. And I feel like it was the Brood, but
Okay. I'm sure we're gonna.
Elandra takes him to space. Elandra and the Shi'ar.
Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna get a massive. Actually, are these even on Disney Plus yet? Are they? Where would they
The
be
original
playing?
is.
The originals. Yeah, the original is. I might do a couple of recaps and. Oh, I mean, I'm probably gonna watch some other reactions of people's breakdowns of the a short list, I guess, of what to know, because I hadn't followed through. But I'm curious to see where this animated series goes, because I know that they're going to up the story the same way that Masters of the Universe Revolution that Kevin Smith did upped the standard of what we know from the 90s and the 80s and took it to a whole new level.
I think it's going to be more of a continuation than trying to take it to a different level. I don't think they're going to try and make
You don't
it like
think
the
so?
big world. No, I genuinely think because they've been. I think they're going to continue the pattern of doing.
Right.
The classic Claremont stories. It looks like they're moving into the 200s, where they're going to go into the Trial of Magneto, issue number 200, and then from there on, Magneto is the headmaster, and that's when they got involved with stuff like Mr. Sinister, and I think they already might have done some of the Omega Sentinel stuff, but I think they could bring in a lot of stories with like Outback era stuff, even though they already have Jubilee and all that. But
yeah. Well, either way, it's going to be fun. When did they say it comes out? Have we got a release date? I can't remember.
It's coming March.
March, that's it. Yeah, March, that's it.
30th.
Yes, March.
So
yeah. And so we'll get the chance. I'm sure we'll try to do some reactions to that too. It's going to be interesting. Although I don't have. Wait, do I? Oh no, it's
did anyone notice Jean was pregnant in those images?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
That was tripping me out because Jean has never actually been pregnant. She has a bunch of children, but they're from. She has Rachel, who's from an alternate timeline where her and Scott had children, and then they have Cable, who is Scott and Madeline Pryor's baby. Madeline being a clone of Jean Grey,
right?
And then Madeline goes crazy, turns evil.
They're gonna make it Logan's baby. Scott's gonna be like, wait a minute, Logan's the father? They're gonna go and Mary Povich, and who's the dad?
Maybe
more
they
Povich,
will.
or just Xavier in a chair reading their minds.
Anyway, guys, I think we'll call it there. We've been going for like an hour and 25 minutes. It was a good run, chat. Thanks for joining us. And we won't be around next weekend. Both Elijah and I are working next weekend. But the following weekend, I'm going to try to be back, all of us, and that will be our episode 100. I have no idea what I'm going to plan for that yet. I honestly don't know what, depending on whatever new. Oh, actually, it will be definitely talking about Avatar: Last Airbender. We'll definitely be talking. Well, I'll be talking about Bad Batch Season 3, what we see at that point, and what other information they drop. But then, I don't know, we'll try to figure out something for episode 100 and kind of make it kind of special. Maybe we'll do some. Maybe we'll pull our first some video from our first days that we actually started doing this.
It's not like back.
Yeah, it was Max came in.
You just bury them and let those monetize.
You do, but there might be an awkwardness be kind of fun. I mean, because we definitely because Max came in a little bit later. He came in, a few months into starting the channel, I think. So
I think it was just you and Jason for the first couple of ones.
Yeah, it might have been. We'll have to go back. Either way, maybe we'll do some flashbacks and stuff like that. I don't know. Not that we had too many memorable episodes. The audience might get bored and stuff. But
they're like, okay, this is not.
Yeah. We can see.
We'll have to wait another 200 or 500 or something. Looking back.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining us in chat, and we shall catch you later. See you in about 2 weeks' time when we're live, and also we'll be on Jason's channel on his Twitch channel on Wednesday night. Yeah, catch you all later.